When you think of the starship Enterprise, which ship specifically comes to mind? Kirk's original, the refit, the Enterprise A, also known as Refit 2 Electric Boogaloo, the Enterprise D, or maybe the E. You probably don't think of two Enterprises, the Enterprise B or the Enterprise C. The NX-01 doesn't count unless you thought of it as it's kind of its own thing, existing before the Federation. It's sort of the lineage, it's weird. And the less said about the JJ Prize, the better. We're going to leave the B to one side for this video, as that lets me make a future video about that ship, but it may be less appreciated than the topic of today's video, which, in case you've forgotten, is the Enterprise C, the immediate predecessor to the much better-known Enterprise D. And actually, this video isn't about the Enterprise C, it's about the Ambassador class. Enterprise C is an Ambassador-class cruiser. It served during the early to mid-24th century with Starfleet. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the class, how it fits within the wider lore of Trek, why it's awesome, and some other stuff about the ship. Basically, me saying that it's underappreciated, and why it should be appreciated more. You would know this. You clicked on the video after reading the title and seeing the thumbnail. I don't know why I'm going over this with you people. It's self-explanatory. First off, let's establish what the Ambassador class is. The Ambassador class is a large cruiser introduced by Starfleet during the 2340s and developed in the previous decade as a part of a Starfleet effort to replace the aging Excelsior generation of ships. The vessel was a dramatic improvement over Excelsior, being much larger, faster, better armed, better equipped, and more comfortable for her crew than older ships. She was to be the flagship of a new generation of starships which were going to replace the old. Sadly, though, it would be decided that the class and the other vessels of the program were too expensive versus a refit of the older designs to fully replace them. And so, in a cost-cutting effort, a majority of the ships planned would be cancelled. Starfleet, or rather the Federation government, would realize their mistake shortly after, however, and take steps which would lead to the Galaxy family of starships to eventually replace the older ships from the fleet. Kind of, hey, that didn't work out really well, let's try again, and the take two was the Galaxy family, and that worked out rather well. I have a video on the subject. You should watch it. Why is the Ambassador class underappreciated? Well, honestly, I think it suffers from existing in the Lost Era, a period lasting from the last of the original series movies, Undiscovered Country, although the beginning of Generation happens after that, and the first episode of The Next Generation. In other words, about 70 years during which we know next to nothing about what the galaxy was like. This era presumably is replete with unique starship classes, but from it we know of the Ambassador for certain, and several other classes are mentioned by name, but we never actually see what they look like. They're mostly mentioned offhand, or they're seen on computer screens in various episodes. So they're canon, but not in that we don't know what they look like. There are a lot of fan designs out there, however, that are very, very good. I also think the Ambassador is so little known because the class appeared like twice in The Next Generation, and maybe a few times in Deep Space Nine, but not prominently if it did, and it might not have. Contrast that to better-known ships like the Constitution, Miranda, Oberth, Excelsior, Galaxy, Sovereign, Runabout, Defiant, and Intrepid classes, which we see on a regular basis across multiple series in starring roles, or at least important roles. And it's not really that hard to see why so few people would really know of the class. We'll give them a pass this once. But just because it is so little known does not mean that the Ambassador is not actually a really cool and capable design which has a lot going for it. For starters, the ship looks really good in my opinion, like a combination of the Constitution refit and Excelsior classes blended with elements from the Enterprise D. The design calls back to the refit Connies and just generally complements the Galaxy class, showing the step between it and the earlier Excelsior very nicely. Although it should be mentioned that this is actually the sort of last-minute thrown-together version of the ship. There was an earlier design, I think Andrew Probert actually made it, that appeared in the background of several TNG episodes, that was later retconned out of existence, but might still be existence. You never know. It's weird. Anyway, even by the time of the Next Generation, back on topic, the Ambassador class was still among the most powerful ships in Starfleet, being fast, well-armed, and having a powerful shield generator equipped as well that made it survivable. Generally a good ship from about any way that you look at it. And that's it for this video. Not a very long one, but it's basically just me saying how cool I think the Ambassador class is, not so much going on about the topic too much, although there were tangents. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching it. If you enjoyed it, then please give it a like, maybe drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you really do like the video, because, I don't know, then you'll see more videos like this in the future. That's it. That's all that needs said. Bye.